Happy Tuesday, everyone. It's Weather for Weather Geeks. It's the Mahoning and Shenango Valley's most in-depth weather forecast video. We're going to talk a little bit about the short range and the long range as usual this evening. We're in the middle of a fairly kind of ho-hum weather pattern, but there's always interesting things to talk about when it comes to the weather. Of interest lately, the dramatic reversal in our temperature patterns, if you will, over the last couple of weeks. It's been since the 11th since we've had a warmer than average day. And that, of course, was the very end of that ridiculously warm pattern we had for a lot of September and the first 11 days of October. Since then, we've been below average with one exception. Last Saturday, we were right at average at 59. We hit 55 today at the Youngstown Warren Airport, a little bit warmer than I thought it would get to. We had a little more sunshine than I bargained for right around midday, so the temperature did spike briefly into the mid-50s. Still running about 4 degrees warmer than average for October so far. When we add it all up at the end of the month, it'll probably end up being pretty close to average, maybe still even a little warmer than average, despite from the 12th through the 31st, it seems likely that every single day will be cooler than or near average. Despite that long stretch, we may still end up with a somewhat warmer than average October because of the ridiculous warmth we had at the start of the month. All right, time-lapse video from today. This is from our Youngstown camera. As expected, we started with a lot of sunshine, then clouds started to bubble up. A lot of cold air aloft building in, making it real easy for those clouds to get going, those air parcels to rise, form those clouds. And these clouds have tried to squeeze out a couple of sprinkles and showers over the last several hours, especially north of Interstate 80. This is kind of a wintry-looking map with the exception of, well, there's no snow, but these are essentially lake-enhanced or lake-effect rain showers that came in from the north and dampened a few spots this evening. Also made for some really nice rainbows out there this evening. Thanks to everyone who shared on my Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, rainbow pictures from earlier on. Don't forget, if you're not following us on Instagram, you can follow me, Eric WFMJ, and then the Storm Tracker 21 team is on Instagram as well. Search for Storm Tracker 21. You can find our weather pictures and more forecast information on there. All right, cooler air is making inroads across the Great Lakes this evening. We're down into the mid-40s as of 7:08. When you look at the change over the last 24 hours, pretty big numbers here from Green Bay to Chicago to Springfield. This is the air that's coming our way tomorrow. Tomorrow will end up being about 10 degrees cooler than today was. Tomorrow's also going to be kind of a cloudy day overall. Occasionally we can see some intervals of sun, but overall I think tomorrow will be noticeably cloudier than today was. We had that sunshine this morning and even some intervals of sun this afternoon. I think there's fewer breaks in the overcast tomorrow. Might even see a sprinkle or a shower around for a time, especially in the morning. High pressure builds in, clears the sky out tomorrow night. It'll be a colder night tomorrow night. We'll get down below freezing in many spots for Wednesday night and Thursday morning. I think after a pretty clear start to the day Thursday, a lot of high clouds will tend to spill in as we get into the afternoon. Those won't be rain clouds just yet. We'll keep an eye on what's going on with this system down across the south on Friday and into the weekend. Now, if this were the dead of winter, this would be a big deal because this would probably end up being a big snowstorm for parts of New England, the mid-Atlantic states, perhaps even parts of the Carolinas. We're not in the middle of winter, so it's just a chilly rain on Friday in places such as Atlanta and Columbia and Charlotte and Raleigh. The big question for us is, where does this moisture go? How does it impact our plans for Friday and the weekend? Here's a look at the European model for Friday and the weekend. European's pretty aggressive with bringing in the moisture by the end of the day on Friday. Other models aren't quite as aggressive with this, but I have thrown some chances of rain in our Friday afternoon and evening forecast. Paying some respect to the usually superior European model here. If taken literally, if this were to verify exactly right, we would probably start to see some light rain in time for high school football Friday evening. The heavier rain out east of the Appalachians. And again, if this were a winter storm, boy, would we be gnashing our teeth over this forecast. This would be one of those deals where there'd probably be a ton of snow through here, and we'd be kind of on the back edge, and it'd be a tough forecast, and whew, thankfully, it's not the middle of winter, so I don't have that headache to deal with. All right, over the course of the weekend, this low, very impressive looking along the East Coast. Boy, that's a wind-driven, nasty rain Saturday in New York and Philly and up to Boston. Some snow, perhaps around Utica, New York, and heading over towards parts of the higher elevations of New England. And for us, there's probably at least a little bit of rain around on Saturday. It's not going to be a very nice day. I think the clouds hang tough. It may not rain a ton, but we'll see probably at least a little bit of rain Saturday. And then on Sunday, still an unsettled pattern. That main low goes up here, but then a secondary trough moves through the Great Lakes and Midwest, and that just looks like a showery, chilly day with temperatures no higher than the mid-40s. That includes for the Browns-Steelers game Sunday afternoon. It should be a brisk and chilly day in the Steel City. All right, over the next 10 days, cooler than average temperatures prevail through the end of the month. Notice, though, the blue boxes start getting shorter and shorter as we head towards days 9 and 10 here, as we roll into the month of November. I think we're going to get into a somewhat different pattern early in November, and you'll see that reflected here on the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook. And I think this is especially weighted towards the kind of the latter half of this period, this 8 to 14 day period. So we're talking mostly as we get into November here. It may not last that long, but I think we squeeze together a handful of days at least where it's not as chilly. And in fact, we might have some warmer than average temperatures for the first time in a while. All that, again, coming up in about maybe 11, 12, 13 days. Until then, the chill is what we have, and it's not going anywhere, at least, like I said, for another 10 days or so. That's it for Tuesday night's weather for Weather Geeks. Thanks, as always, for watching. I'll have a full update on your forecast tonight on 21 News at 11. Hope you'll join us then.